play often down here. And yeah, it was really, you know, captured the energy of that show, and a good representation of that song itself. So yeah, it's been good. I think we've released like 5 singles off the new record so far, and then the full album comes out on the 6th of June on Housecore. So yeah, you know, it's been a kind of a slow release plan from the get-go. I think we put the first single out just at the end of January, and then we just kind of be putting out a single just to sort of build it up in anticipation of the full release on the 6th of June. So yeah, it's getting to the end of it now, and starting to do a bit more press, and do our Aussie tour kicks off next weekend, and then we'll be able to see you guys through summer.
Yeah, well, we're very happy about that. So we're looking forward to it.
Us too. Us too.
Yeah, great. What can fans expect when you guys are at, you know, I know it's high energy, but is there any Easter eggs or any surprises that we might see during the tour?
Well,
More
we've
new
just
songs?
Yeah, well, we're going to be playing. We're going to be playing a whole bunch of new songs off the new record. Um, you know, we're excited to do the Pantera stuff, obviously, but we also just got added to the Acid Bath and Pentagram show in
Oh,
Brooklyn on July 25th. So we're super stoked about that. And yeah, we've recently had a lineup change to our drummer that we've had for the last 10 years has left the band, and we've just brought on a new guy, Max Dangerfield, who's a young guy. He's only 24, but he's a amazing drummer and amazing guy, and so that'll be the first time he's been on tour with us in the US, and will also be his first time ever in the US.
oh,
And his first show in the US is going to be supporting Acid Bath and Pentagram. So I'm super excited for that show. But I'm so excited for him. You know, as a young guy, you know, he's 24 years old, and he's going to get the opportunity to play a really cool theater in Brooklyn as
yeah.
his first experience in the US. And then obviously 20 stadium shows with Pantera in a month after that.
Yeah, that's not a dream come true for almost anybody.
You know, it's just so cool to be able to, you know, to give him that opportunity. You know, that's
Yeah,
it's so cool.
yeah, that's great. Well,
Yeah.
now you mentioned the new drummer. Can you give us go back a little bit and give us a little brief history of the band and how it came to be and kind of what your influences and your genre kind of is?
Yeah, sure, no worries. So we've been sort of going around since about 2010, 2011. Very, you know, humble beginnings in Australia here, and we were kind of, you know, influenced by a lot of different stuff, I guess, but primarily grindcore music, thrash metal, and death metal stuff, with definitely a more than a hint of punk rock attitude thrown in for sure, and definitely on the more extreme side of things though. And although we never kind of pigeonholed ourselves too much, there's definitely all of the sort of blast beats and fast beats and D beats and all of that sort of stuff. But we've also always incorporated groovier kind of elements to what we do. And there's definitely punk rock elements in there with not only the vocals, but some of the riffs too. So that's sort of where the foundation of the band lies. And then I think we were all really wanted to be influenced by, obviously, you know, you're always influenced by the bigger bands that are huge, and all of that sort of stuff that you love. So all the typical metal stuff that you would imagine, but also to be influenced by the Australian bands that played extreme metal in the 90s that sort of didn't get the exposure internationally that is available now, if that makes sense. Like back in the 90s, it was always magazines and tape trading and writing letters and stuff, and everything was a bit slower, and it wasn't as easy for Australian bands to break out of the Australian scene and play internationally. And we wanted to create our own band that sounded Australian, which I think we do, and that was able to play internationally and tour internationally and take that sound out internationally. So that's always been our goal that we've stuck true to. So yeah, our first record came out in it came out in Australia 2012, but then internationally it came out on Candlelight Records in 2013, and we started touring. We did our first US tour in 2014. We ended up doing like 3 or 4 tours in the US that year, going back and forth. Um, I mean, our second record came out 2015, and that's sort of, we kind of got into Europe there, and we were touring a lot, doing US, Canada, and then Europe as well through 2015, 2016. Our third record came out in 2017, and we can just continued on with that. And then over those couple of years, obviously the COVID thing happened. We weren't able to play too much during that time, but we did have some songs recorded. We put out another EP during COVID called "Hold Up in the Lair," and then I think around 2022 we started playing again in Australia. 2023 we came back to the US, and by that point we were like, we need to do a new record. So here it is.
Yep. It almost sounds like because of you or your band, Australian punk scene has kind of been able to go international. So I'm sure there's a lot of those local bands that appreciate and look up to your band for kind of breaking that barrier for them.
I
So
think, yeah. I think for definitely. I mean, there's quite a. I mean, there's quite a few bands that have, broken out of the Australian scene and got out and sort of laid the foundation, so to speak. And I think more from the extreme metal side. Yeah, there's only been like a handful that have been able to sort of get out and do it.
yeah,
And I always like the saying, you can only keep what you've got by giving it away. And so any of the bands that kind of come to me and ask, how did you do this or how did you do that or whatnot, I love to be able to sort of share that,
yeah,
what I know, or connections, or just sort of any sort of knowledge of doing that stuff. I like to be able to sort of pass it on and keep it going, keep it moving, and keep the scene alive and keep the dream alive for people that want to do it.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, and internationally, it's nice to get that your band's style and sound is unique. So getting that experience for us is a treat as well. And so being able to go international with your sound is well, we appreciate it, and it's something that every band should be able to do. And nowadays, it is easier, but like you said, in the '90s, I could see why it was a little bit tougher. So,
Yeah, right. I mean, it was like things move so quickly now. It's like, if you put out a music video in the 90s, you'd get like months and months of exposure, and you might have to wait like a week to watch it on MTV or something
yeah,
like that. And let's watch that video again.
yep, yep,
Now it's just like, what? Click, watch it. And it's like a week later, it's like ancient history.
yeah. My son's 15 and he has an attention span of like a fly. So it's like he'll watch the first 30 seconds of something and then click to the next one. I'm like, you need to go back and appreciate the full amount of the song. And so I make him go to concerts with me when I'm taking photos so he can
Yep.
appreciate the music and have nothing else to look at. No cell phone, just have him pay attention to the sound. And I think he appreciates it. He asks to go now. So instead of me forcing him, he's like, well, can I go with you to Aftershock? Well, no, that's too expensive. But any other one, sure.
But you're right. I think when people get the opportunity, like even the younger generation, to get the opportunity to say, "Hey, no, we're not taking the phone. You put that down and just experience what's happening here and be in the moment." I think they do appreciate it. They can appreciate that moment. Doesn't mean that they don't go back to their iPad or their phone or whatever.
The second they can, yeah. I do know that Ghost is touring or getting ready to tour, and I know that they actually have a no cell phone policy. I'm sure there's other
all
bands
that.
out there that have a no cell policy. I'm wondering how that's been received so far. So
Yeah,
it'll be interesting.
probably with a lot of disgruntled, phone addicted people.
Yep. But my generation, we appreciate it because we don't want those phones in our faces when we're trying to see it. You're like trying to look around someone's cell phone. It's like I want to be able to have access to seeing the band play. I don't care about what you're getting on your Zoom. So it is
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
nice to have that.
it's always the same though now, right? Like if you see a show or whatever, everyone's got their phone up. It's like
Yep.
it's just what it is.
Back in the day, it used to be lighters when it was like
Yeah,
an homage song. Now it's the cell phone flashlight.
yeah, totally did.
Uh, yeah, well, you'd mentioned that you guys have the new drummer. Has there been any changes, like who writes the music, or how did this new album come about?
Well, I mean, it was I sort of we had some ideas kicking around. We've always got a few ideas kicking around, but I think it was pretty much after we'd finished our US tour, the first time we'd been back to the US since COVID in 2023. We we kind of got motivated again to start writing and doing some more shows and doing more touring, and we knew that we had to do a new record if we were going to do that. So um, yeah, so we knuckled down in the studio sort of towards the end of 2023, early 2024, and got the writing part done pretty quickly. Really, like it, yeah, once we sort of focus in and concentrate on what we're doing with the writing, it comes together pretty quickly. But then there was a lot of aspects of pre-production that we did to get the songs right, to get the structures right, the vocal placements right, and then I think, sort of around this time a year ago was when we kind of really started honing in on getting the recording part done. And so we're lucky enough to be able to sort of rehearse and do all the pre-production at the studio that we recorded at. So that was a fantastic. It was fantastic to be in that environment where we felt really comfortable, and work with the engineer Luke Walton at Danger Tone Studios here in Melbourne, who we feel comfortable with. We're really good friends with him. We sit around in his studio all the time anyway, and we're always talking music and guitars and guitar amps and drum sounds, and we're talking about that shit all the time, like geeking out on that stuff all the time anyway. So it was great to be able to sort of sit in with him and really work on something and do the mixes and take them home and listen to them and then tweak them here and there. And it was actually the first time that we worked with him on a record, even though we've been rehearsing there a long time, but it was the first time we'd worked on a record with him. So I think moving forward, if we do another record with him again, we can really fix a few things that we didn't quite get right on this one. And I think it'll be a much more streamlined process next time for sure. But it was a great experience nonetheless.
Great, that's great. So I know that you have the new tour coming out. You have the new album coming out. Is this is your first full length LP or
No,
EP?
this is our fourth album.
Okay, fourth album.
Yes, so we had Bite Your Head Off in
That's right.
2012, 2013. We had Dead Set in 2015. We had Ugly Produce in 2017. Our first EP came out in 2011, I think, and then we did an EP in COVID in 2020. So yeah, this is our fourth record, and I mean, I'm just like, now that we've got a new drummer on board and all that sort of stuff, I just want to start writing again. I just want to get right back into it.
Yeah. Are you the main writer for the band for the music?
No, I don't really write any of the riffs or anything like that. I do the vocals and the vocal placement and stuff, and all that kind of stuff. But our guitarist, Mr. White, is probably I would say the primary songwriter in the band. But our other guitarist Squiz and our bass player Slats also contribute some of the riffs. And but like you got to give credit to the drummer too, because I think the drummer always sort of shapes the song and creates the feel and the tempos and all that sort of stuff. So for a band like us, it's a real collaborative effort.
That's great. Now I know that you mentioned you have four albums. I'm interested lately in who does the artwork on the albums. So I've been looking at different albums, and I just interviewed a couple other bands, and I love hearing the stories about how they chose who designs it and who's the creator of it. Do you have a special person that you use, or a way you guys choose who's going to do the artwork for your albums?
Yeah. So there's a bit of a sad story behind this one. Uh, our In 2023, one of my best friends, who has been a
Oh,
long time collaborator of the band, passed away. His name's Boyd Sinnott. Yeah, he
oh,
passed away in 2023, and it was yeah,
I'm
incredibly
sorry.
sad time for the band. But he did the artwork on our first EP. He did the artwork on our second and third album, and the Hold Up in the Lair EP that we put out in 2020. He also did the artwork concept and idea for this new album. And he gave me that before he passed away, like in 2023. He was like, "This should be the new album cover artwork." And so the album, I don't know if you've seen it or not, but the artwork for the new album is just like a teenage dude and a chick standing there with a bike, and it's called A Young Person's Guide to King Parrot, which is like a tip of the hat to King Crimson,
Mhm.
the old prog rock band, because they had an album of a similar title, and we just wanted to kind of do something that was a little bit different, a little bit. We're always kind of been a bit of a tongue-in-cheek kind of band. We've always liked to incorporate humor and stuff like that. And if you've seen any of our music videos, you might understand why.
Yeah.
Over the years, like we've always had that sort of humor element to the band, that Australian larrikinism, I like to call it, as well as being incredibly fast and aggressive and powerful kind of band. It also has this sort of yeah, tongue-in-cheek humor aspect to it as well. So yeah, so our friend Boyd was a big part of that, and we now that he's passed, you know, we wanted to honor him with the artwork. We kicked a few other ideas around, but it was like nothing kind of stuck, and it was like this has got to be the artwork. He kind of determined that this was going to be the artwork before he died, you know, and so we've just kind of honored him with that, and it's really nice to be able to honor him. Um, you know, he's been in our music videos. He helped us develop our music video ideas. He was such a big part of what we did. You know, when we were making new music, he'd be the first person that I would take it to
Oh,
show and go, "Hey, man, have you got any feedback on this? You got any ideas?" You know, and he'd often, you know, contribute lyric placement ideas, or even sometimes he'd write a couple of lines or jot down some lyrics for me to consider using. And sometimes I use them. They're definitely a bunch in there in our songs over the years that he wrote, sort of like maybe like a little bridge or a verse or something like that. So yeah, that's been a yeah, it was a pretty sad kind of time for the band then when all that kind of happened. But now that we're kind of pushing forward with that and paying our respects to him, you know, it's like it feels like everything that we do from here on in is just like tribute to him. You know,
yeah.
it's like we're honoring his legacy, and you know, he's just one of the most incredible artists that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
He would have art exhibitions in Melbourne, and he had like 30 pieces up around a gallery or whatever, and they all sell out every time.
Wow.
He's an incredible artist. What he did with King Parrot was one thing, but what he could actually do in the scope of the artistic realm was just phenomenal. And you know, his creativity is something that we miss so much.
Yeah.
And we're just happy that we can honor him, you know, with the artwork for the new album, but also to continue sort of paying our respects to him and the inspiration that he gave us.
Yeah. And that's what he'd want. So that's great.
Yeah,
Wow.
it is. It's true. He would want that for sure.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that. Sorry to bring that up, but I was just curious about
No,
the artwork because I love album artwork. So I'm going to
yeah,
have to see. I wonder if there's anything online that has all of the other stuff he's done that I can maybe find somewhere. So I'll have to look for that. That'd be
yeah,
kind of cool
yeah,
to
yeah.
see.
He's 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 his page on Facebook is his initials are BS. So his name's Boyd Sinnott,
Hmm.
but his Facebook page is BS Artist. So it looks like bullshit artist, but
Yeah. And I'm sure that was made on purpose. So,
of course.
okay. Well, I appreciate your time. I had one last question. It's one I just ask everybody. Like, when you're not performing, What are you listening to? What music do you listen to when you're trying to relax?
Well, I mean, I always listen to a lot of metal stuff, so that's a given. I'm always listening to new stuff, new anything that's coming out. Trying to keep an eye on all of that sort of stuff. Um, I love, the more extreme stuff, of course, but I'm right into like doom metal and sludge metal and stoner rock stuff. I love all the thrash and grindcore and death metal stuff. Don't get me wrong, I love all that. But I also love some mellow stuff. I'm into old stuff. I like the Who and the Kinks and the
Hmm?
Beatles and the Rolling Stones and all that sort of shit. I love Alice Cooper, Sabbath, AC/DC, all that stuff that you would assume. Um, but most recently, I mean, you might mentioned Ghost before. I love the early Ghost stuff. That's really cool. I love Acid Bath. I mean, I'm so stoked that we're getting to play with Acid Bath, and I've been revisiting all that stuff. I've been listening to Dax Riggs, the vocalist, who is the vocalist from Acid Bath. He put out a new EP recently called Seven Songs for Spiders, and I cannot stop listening to that. It is incredible. Like,
I'm gonna
that
have to
dude
check that out.
has one of the most amazing voices I've ever heard. And I'm just super stoked to have the opportunity to perform with him when we play with Acid Bath, because I just want to see him sing.
Yeah.
And I wish I could see him sing those new songs off that solo EP that he did, because it's just incredible. If you haven't listened to it, you should check it out. It's great.
I'm
Uh,
going to. That sounds awesome.
it is. It's so good.
Mm.
Like all of the songs on that EP have just like that's all I want to listen to. Like when I'm in the car, I'm putting it on and I'm singing along to it. It's great. So um, I don't know what else. I mean, if I brought up my thing, I could probably. Uh, but I mean, when I'm with my daughter, I listen to a lot of kids' music, and we sing along to
Yeah.
that. She's
My
only 4, so
oh
I don't know if you've heard of Peppa Pig.
oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You know
We've gone
Peppa?
through that era. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. So I mean, we're in Pepper era at the moment, so I know all the words to every single song from Peppa Pig and the Wiggles. I've got the Wiggles going. We know all of the Wiggles songs, and
Oh yeah, that fruit salad, huh?
oh yeah. I'm playing that stuff on my guitar. We do concerts. Me and my daughter do concerts together, and there's never anyone in the audience, but we do our little concerts and sing all the Wiggles songs and stuff. It's great fun.
I would love to hear a punk version of fruit salad. I think that would be awesome. I think you
When
got
you
your next
actually
record.
Right? Yeah, but when you actually listen to those songs and you work out how to play them on guitar and stuff, they're actually incredibly well written songs.
Yeah. It's pretty amazing. Yeah, we did the Peppa Pig, we did Caillou, which was horrifying experience for me, but we did all that. And now my son goes from Peppa Pig to now he loves like Nicki Minaj. And I'm like, I don't know how you jump. You come back to me, come back to heavy metal and hard
Yeah.
rock. And he's like, no. But I'm getting him.
Oh,
He's got really long hair, so I think he needs to be in a band. So we're trying.
yeah, that's it. You can only try, right?
Exactly. Well, I do appreciate your time. Did you want to leave any last minute like advice or words about the upcoming album or tour that you're doing for those who are watching?
Yeah, so you can check out all the stuff that's going on with the band at kingparrot.net. Our new album comes out on June 6th on Housecore Records. You can get that at housecorerecords.com. We've got some cool stuff in the bundle, like patches, pins, t-shirt. There's a splatter vinyl, which looks really awesome with the new artwork. Yeah, that's out on June 6th. You can order that there. We start our Australian tour next weekend, which is going to be awesome. We're just doing weekends on this Australian tour over the next couple of months through May and June, and then we get to the States on the 25th of July for our first show with Acid Bath and Pentagram in Brooklyn. We start with Pantera on the 31st, and we do 20 shows with them all around the country. And then we'll be adding our own headlining shows, club shows on the off days. And there's a little break in the Pantera a month tour for like 13 days. So we're going to do a whole bunch of, we're going to put a little tour package together for that and do some club shows in Canada and around sort of like, I think the northeast of America. So yeah, we're
No
looking forward to
rest.
it. well, we just cannot wait to come back over there. We're super excited.
Well, we're excited that you guys are coming. So I appreciate your time. Thank you very much. And I'll try to get this up as soon as possible.
Thanks so much for your support. We're really grateful. Thank you.
Thank you. Take care.
All right,
Bye.
you too. Yeah.
Thank you. Bye.